should be good. We're back. I think. I think we're back. Okay. Now this is how it's supposed to look. That's how it's supposed to look. My brighter, lighter, darker. What's going on? Lighting. So sorry for that. We're back. Um, the stream went out. Well, the stream didn't go out. The stream just it was weird. It was like a weird sideways. I was turned sideways for whatever reason. Now I'm back. Things should be good. I really wish YouTube would make a setting for that because my goodness, it's insane that that happens. But hopefully people will come back in. I know we had quite a few people in. Okay, people are joining back. Hey, welcome back to the stream. We're back. I had to fix things around, do another stream, but we're back. And we were talking about your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. And I kind of want to get your guys' thoughts about the trailer. What did you guys think about the trailer? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Did you feel indifferent about it? Um, you know, we've been waiting for this trailer for a while now. It's been years. I mean, I've talked about this show for almost like 2 years. And it's kind of crazy to think about like we finally just got a trailer for this like yesterday. And I'm going to tell you a story about that too because it was raining here yesterday. It was a storm. They said that this was going to be like a really bad storm where I was. It didn't turn out to be a bad storm, thankfully. And I was just sitting there chilling, and I was like, I feel like Marvel would drop a trailer right now. Please, and I was like saying to myself, please don't drop the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man trailer right now. Please don't drop it. Then, as soon as I said it, 12 o'clock hit and they dropped the trailer. Now, mind you, I'm at my family's house at the time, so I had to like make a quick dash back home to start the video to do the reaction, get everything set up. So I was like, dang, I was chilling. So they dropped the trailer, but I was like, I promise I would drop the trailer as soon as it came out. I would do a trailer reaction to it at least. So I had to, and I'm glad I did. I'm really glad I did. I'm glad I didn't procrastinate. I didn't hold back on doing it. So I'm glad I did it because your boy, if you don't know, your boy got into a reaction mashup. I'm getting into your comments in just a second. What's up, Carter? How you doing? Made it just in time. You did. I had a stream going earlier, but the screen was sideways and it didn't look right. What's up, Marvel fan? How you doing? Welcome to the stream. Hey, just wanted to say I can't make it. Have a good day though. All good, man. All good. We'll be doing more streams next year. That's one of the big things that I'm going to be doing next year. We're going to be doing more streams. Actually, I have a stream idea that I might be doing either this week or next week. And it's going to be pretty cool, I think. 2025, there's a lot to look forward to. And, talking about our most anticipated movies of 2025. So I thought that would be a good stream idea. So I'll keep you guys up to date on that. What's up, Juan? How you doing? I hope you're doing good. But yeah, we get the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man trailer. And honestly, like in my honest opinion, like I like it. I like the style. I like the animation style. It has that comic book, feel to it. Like the old school comic books. Speaking of, this is one of the comic books I got for Christmas. But yeah, as you can see, like these like very solid, bright, vibrant colors that you can see here, right? Like they're taking inspiration from that. So for me, I think that's like a really different approach that we haven't seen at least in a while. So it is definitely an interesting route. Um, you're saying, Carter, this is going to be an origin for the MCU Spider-Man, but they changed it into the multiverse. Well, when they initially announced the show, I know they said something about this was going to be connected, like a Tom Holland prequel story or something like that. But then I remember hearing rumors about this not being tied to the MCU. They said they were going to do their own separate thing with this. And that's when I started saying in my videos, like I started telling people, like I think this is going to be a separate thing. I think this isn't going to be connected to the MCU in any way, shape, or form. And to be quite honest with you, the way What If ended, I'm actually kind of glad it's not connected to the MCU. And I say this because I feel like with What If is, in my opinion, it's a great concept, but a lot of things hold it back. It's not as, in my opinion, you don't really get to explore the what if scenarios like you think you would. And I feel like with Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider Man, they have the opportunity to do something different with this take on Spider Man. We're seeing different villains that we haven't seen before. We're seeing different characters that some we haven't seen before on screen and some we have. Like Nico Monoro, right? Like people know her from The Runaways. Some people knew the Runaway show that we got that wasn't that good. Some people know her from the comics, right? So that's kind of a character that some people are familiar with. But then you have some of the characters like Pearl, who is the hero wave, right? Like I think Jeff Tramiel said at Comic Con that she's actually going to be Peter's crush, as well as her also being the swim team captain, which makes sense because her whole thing is to deal with water. So again, like we're getting some of these characters that we haven't seen before, and I kind of like that. I like that, but I just hope with this that it isn't like a thing where it takes away from Peter's story. Like I feel like these characters can maybe come in as sort of like friends that he deals with, but maybe he doesn't know that they have powers yet. Until maybe later down the line when he finds out that they have powers too. Maybe that's something they could do, but I hope that this just stays a Spider-Man story. And from as far as, what we can tell from the trailer, I can't go based off of the show because I haven't seen the show yet, but based off of the trailer, it does feel like we're getting that like early root Spider-Man on his own, trying to find his way and that sort of thing. And I really appreciate that. And I hope that they do that. I think this is a good alternative to people who feel like, Tom Holland, which I'm in that same boat where Tom Holland doesn't feel like Spider-Man. Like he doesn't feel like he is his own hero. He's his own individual. He feels very much Tony Stark prone, if that makes sense. Which even in this, like, it's completely different because, you know, Peter looks up to Captain America in this, which I think is ultimately better because, in my honest opinion, I've always felt like Captain America has always had like this admiration for Spider-Man, and I've always felt like Spider-Man has always had this admiration for Captain America. So it just makes sense in that standpoint. And I mean, we saw Captain America, shaking hands with Norman Osborn in the trailer. So will we see Captain America pop up in here at some point? Maybe. That would be interesting. Definitely that would be a moment where that would be like Peter's like I wouldn't say fanboy because that would I don't like the term fanboy, but that would definitely be, when you go out somewhere, maybe you met a celebrity just off of the circumstance, but it just kind of happened, so you're kind of like in that moment where you don't really know what to do or what to say. I feel like personally that's something they could do with, Peter and Cap when they meet. Maybe it's sort of that thing where he doesn't really know what to say. He just knows that he met his idol. So maybe he won't be too awkward or try to be too awkward around him. He'll maybe be a little bit reserved when it comes to Captain America. So I think that would be a different take. Obviously, Daredevil is going to be in this, and Charlie Cox is voicing him. We just got the confirmation, which, if you saw my Everything We Know About at the time when it was Spider Man freshman year, but if you saw that video, I did kind of hint towards Vincent D'Onofrio maybe possibly voicing Kingpin. But now we got the confirmation yesterday that Vincent D'Onofrio is going to be voicing Kingpin in the series, so that's good. That's going to be an interesting episode. Kingpin episodes always, seem to have something. Spider-Man the animated series, I think the Kingpin episodes, anything with Kingpin in it is just one of my favorites. And shout out to Roscoe Brown who voiced Kingpin in that series. He did a really good job, and uh, yeah, just I liked hearing him say just the word eradicate in that series. So what are you guys saying? I hope this version of Norman will become Green Goblin at some point. I think we'll see that. I don't think we'll see it in the first season. I if this show does well, which I hope it does, but if this show does well, I think they could maybe build up to Green Goblin. We finally see Norman crash out and he just becomes the Green Goblin. I think that would be a really, in my opinion, satisfying way to do this if they want to make Green Goblin the ultimate Spider-Man villain. Because in my honest opinion, I feel like Green Goblin has always been the ultimate Spider-Man villain. People say Venom, people say Hobgoblin, but for me, Green Goblin to me is the ultimate Spider-Man villain. So I would like a really nice build up to that. You said 90s. What's up, Radiant Films? How you doing? 90s Spider-Man animated is my favorite Spider-Man animated TV show. Yeah, it's a really good. It's a classic. I go back and I rewatch it a lot. A lot of great episodes in there, with just Peter, but also like with other heroes like the Punisher, Daredevil, Blade. Just that whole run of like Daredevil, Punisher, and Blade alone, just kind of episodes, is just like a really dope way. And then you have like Morbius in there, which Morbius is like actually legit Morbius in there. He's not some Sony made thing where he's not the character he's supposed to be, with the character he's supposed to be around. So I appreciate that. Like I said, 90s Spider-Man will always have a special place in my heart. I love that series. I go back and rewatch it a lot. And it's definitely one of my favorite Spider-Man animated series we've gotten. See, according to the prequel comic, Silvermane looks like he's going to be the show's big man. Yeah, that could be the case too, because I did read the prequel comic. And there's even like some stuff in the prequel comic which I might actually, I don't know if you guys want me to, but I actually thought about doing like a trailer breakdown because there's definitely some Easter eggs in that trailer that I could give more context to for those who probably aren't able to get a hold of the prequel comic. But yeah, Silvermane is teased towards the end at the prequel comic. Like I said, the whole Captain America thing that's teased in the prequel comic. Even just some friendship bits with Nico and Peter are also kind of there as well. How their friendship started, because Nico's like the first person Peter meets at his new school, because this is like a new school for Peter. So maybe we'll find out what old school Peter went to before, but we know he goes to Midtown High in this series. What's up, Yanchar? I think that's your name. I don't want to butcher it. What's up? The theme song is so catchy, maybe better than Spectacular for me. Oh, that's gonna be a hot take. That's gonna be a hot take for a lot of people. I know a lot of people love Spectacular, but I agree. I like the theme song. It's very catchy. I love the homage to the 1960s Spider-Man animated series that we got, and it just really shows that this show is gonna pull from. It's really gonna pull from many different Spider-Man media throughout the years because Jeff Tramiel, I think he answered a question on Twitter, and someone had said like the reflection. In the trailer we get that scene with Peter in the Future Foundation suit, which they're calling it the Osborn suit, but I think there's more to that. I think we could see the Fantastic Four at some point. I think that would be kind of cool if we see the Fantastic Four. But the Future Foundation suit, we get him with the reflection, and it's definitely reminds you of that moment of Spider-Man 3 when he gets the symbiote suit, and you see the reflection of the symbiote suit with his normal suit, and then there's references. The one I picked up on was at the beginning of the trailer where he runs into the taxi. That reminded me of when Miles got bit by the spider and he goes to school the next day, and he's just like, no, this isn't anything wrong. It's just puberty. That's all it is, just puberty. And then he collides into the car. I don't know if it was a taxi cab either. And then he kind of does the Spider-Man stance when he flips over. So that reminded me a bit of that scene from that too. So there's definitely references to just different Spider-Man media in general. Let's see. Is no brainer Iron Man will be in the show. Yeah, in the concept art that they showed off at D23, there's like a big ensemble of characters. Some heroes, some unknown characters that I'm sure we'll get introduced to. And Iron Man was one of the characters in that art. So we'll definitely see Iron Man. I hope they don't have too much of an interaction with that. I hope they don't add Miles Morales to the series. If they do the more than one season, they should keep it like the classic Spider-Man. I agree with that. Now, mostly I would be like all down and all for any other additional Miles content, but I agree because I feel like this is Peter's story. And if you're going to tell us Peter's story, especially if you're taking homage to the origin of the comics, I feel like adding Miles into that just kind of throws it off. And me personally, I just don't know how Miles would fit into this. So if they want to do like a Miles Morales series in the future, I think they should do that. They should just give Miles his own show and kind of keep this separate to this Peter, his Spider-Man story. So I agree with that. Exactly, MCU Spider-Man. I agree with you. W fan film, Radiant Films. Oh, you did a fan film. I definitely let me know what your fan film is. I'll definitely check it out. Hey, what's good, Ultra Nerd? How you doing? What's good, man? I love the trailer. The music goes hard. Yeah, it does. Music is a banger. I'm pretty sure someone has the music from the trailer too on YouTube. I know it's all over, but it's a really good theme song. I like it. I'm glad you love the trailer. Going on here? What's up, Duke? We're just talking about your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, the trailer, and kind of giving your guys' thoughts about the trailer. What you like, what you didn't like, what you hope to see, what you hope not to see. Let's see. Would you like to see your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man make a small cameo in Beyond the Spider-Verse, like Spectacular, Insomniac, and Unlimited did in Across the Spider-Verse? That would be cool. I think so because I do feel like I think either Chris Miller or Phil Lord did confirm that we're gonna see more Spider-Man variants, for Gwen, but also just Spider-Man variants in general from the Spider Society and Beyond the Spider-Verse. So that would be cool to see him. I think seeing him in his homemade suit, because I love that suit personally. I think that would be cool to see him just have like a little small appearance, maybe even just like a small line or two. Um, I think that would be cool. I would like that quite a lot. You think maybe he'll make the classic suit right at the end, sort of as a teaser for season two? I think so. I think so. Because, in that concept art that we got, which I actually, when I do my trailer breakdown, I am gonna, because there are some scenes in here from some of the concept art that we've seen in the past, of some scenes that we have that show up in here. So I definitely want to add that into the mix. But I definitely think we will see the classic suit because there's a whole line of different suits. Like, there's the Hornet suit, there's like some kind of like suit where it's like a Doctor Strange esque kind of suit. I don't know what that one is. Then you have the Future Foundation suit. Then you have the classic suit, the one that we know of. So I feel like either they're gonna show it off in maybe the last episode or maybe like the second to last episode. Maybe is there a Black Peter Parker in the Spider Verse? Not sure what you mean by that, but some would say Miles is the black version of Peter Parker, but I disagree with that because Miles has had so much like history and storytelling that he's his own Spider-Man at this point. This is the most chill guy I've ever met. Well, thank you. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I'm just yeah, I'm just chilling, man. I'm just chilling. I really don't have anything to like be angry or rant about. Like I'm chilling with you guys. I appreciate you guys, being here. I really appreciate that MCU Spider-Man. Did anyone else notice NPC Miles Morales cameo? Yeah, I did. I heard the voice and I was like, where have I heard his voice before? Like, originally during the, reaction, I didn't think too much of it. I just was thinking in my head, like, where have I heard this voice before? Like, he sounds familiar. And then I, like, thought about it and I was like, wait a minute. I know where I've heard him before. That's NPC Miles. And sure enough, they confirmed it was NPC Miles. I wanted a Spider-Man Noir or a Scarlet Spider. Well, we are technically getting a Spider-Man Noir series. It's not animated, but we are getting that. That looks interesting. That Spider-Man Noir series. I hope it's good. I hope it's good. You got you got the actor for Spider Noir, Nicolas Cage in it, so I hope it's good. But Scarlet Spider might be something we see eventually. I saw a Mask point out the NPC Miles thing. Yeah, it would be cool. Yeah, the Mask point out in the trailer NPC Miles plays the thug who was holding the camera. Yeah. In the OG Ultimate Comics, Miles is very similar to Peter. He had a few stuff that was special to him, but then MCU Peter stole that. Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. I do feel like they gave a lot of what made Miles his own kind of thing. They gave it to Tom Holland, and I didn't like that personally. I feel like that's why they probably had to make Spider-Verse Miles so much more different, which, you know, anyway, Spider-Verse Miles to me just feels like just a very different Miles than, what I say we've had in I guess Spider-Man media, but I could be wrong about that. He had a few stuff that, yeah, okay. I love the homemade suit for this version. I love the tank that would hold the web fluid and the tubes where you can shoot out. Yeah, like ever since we got that concept art of the homemade suit, I was like, you know what? I feel like if anyone was to be like a Spider-Man, like I feel like that's something someone would wear, like the backpack with the web tubes, and the crazy like spider jersey and things like that. Like I feel like that is something that maybe someone starting out would wear as like a Spider-Man, and it's not one of these things where it's like you see like Spider-Man knitting a whole suit or nanotech a whole nanotech suit that was given to him. Like he's legit, taking stuff from his closet, it looks like, and stuff that maybe was in, Aunt May's garage, and he's kind of putting it all together and making his own, suit. So I appreciate that. Let's see. I know I said that the animation style of Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man reminded me of Tron Uprising because both shows were animated by the same company. But I would highly recommend you watching Uprising if you haven't seen it. All right, I'll check it out. I'll check it out. I got a lot of things on my list that I've been watching as of recently. Every Thursday I try to catch every Creature Commandos episode. So there's a lot of things that I'm still trying to get through, but I'll definitely put Uprising on my list. I'll try. I'll try to watch it before uh, this Spider-Man series comes out. They should have made this canon to the MCU. Eh, I Amber, like as much as I hear you, I feel like that's the big problem. If they would have connected this to the MCU, how would this have worked? Especially with some of the characters like, that we have, like the new friends that Peter has, some of the villains, like how would this have worked? Because, you would think that Tom Holland would have had some mention of some of these, foes and friends that he has. Like you would think he would mention something like that. You would think we would see like a Nika Monaro or something like that in the movies, but I just personally like I and I said this earlier, like I feel like what if's problem, and what if is a concept again that in theory it works, but when you limit it so much to the point where you certain characters you can't use or certain storylines you can't tell because potentially they may use them for a future MCU project, it kind of feels like you're limiting yourself to what you can do. And that's why I feel like personally the what if concept, in theory, yeah, there might be some things that they may pull into the MCU from what if. I still feel like what if should have been its own thing. That way they could have had characters like a Wolverine or a Blade or some of the cut episodes that they had planned. Like there was a cut episode with Iron Fist and Shang-Chi teaming up. They didn't give us that. So I just feel like if you're going to do what if, don't limit yourself. They actually confirmed the reason why Spider-Verse Miles is so unique is because they didn't want mainstream audiences being like, you stole this from MCU Peter. Oh, I see. I didn't know that, but you know what? I'm glad they made him different. I'm glad they made him different. They confirmed there was so much of Genki before Homecoming came out. Yeah, I have I have Spider Verse, physical like on Blu-ray, and there was a lot of cutscenes with Genki in that movie, because it's like a whole 2 hour cut. And yeah, Genki was gonna play a bigger part in that movie, but unfortunately, it didn't happen because we had Ned and that whole thing, and that would have made too much of a whole similar thing with that whole thing or a hoodie. I love the idea of Ben Riley's hoodie fit being a homemade look, but when Ben comes along, he just steals Peter's homemade look for a while. That would be kind of funny. I'm not gonna lie to you, but I still love MCU Peter to death. All good, like all good. There's some aspects I do like about MCU Peter, and I hope with Spider-Man 4 and other potential movies that they work on, I hope they add more to him and do more with him because I think there is some potential there. It's just that I think they need a direction where they can take it to where people are like, yeah, like this is like Spider-Man. Like this is some of the Spider-Man content we've been wanting to see for a little bit for some time now. What's your most anticipated film of 2024? Is it 2024 or 2025? 2025. You know what, Amber, you should definitely like subscribe and stuff because that's actually going to be a stream that I do either this week or next week. And I kind of just want to give my most anticipated movies of next year and kind of get your most anticipated movies too. I have a couple. Obviously, Superman is a big one. That's definitely a movie I'm looking forward to. Captain America, I'm looking forward to. Fantastic Four, the Michael Jackson movie, I'm looking forward to. Um, I think Mission Impossible comes out next year. If not Mission Impossible, then I think Ballerina, I think is the John Wick movie. I think that comes out next year too. So that one, like, 2025 has like a lot of movies that's coming out. I'm excited for them to show off Harry and Pete. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what that dynamic is going to be. Let's see, Dallas Young or Miles Brown for live action Miles Morales. I say Dallas Young. Dallas Dupree Young. I'm a big Cobra Kai fan, and so if you've seen some of the Karate Kid Cobra Kai stuff I've done on the channel, I've done it recently. I wish I would have gotten into it earlier when the show came out, but being a big fan of Cobra Kai and watching Dallas Dupree Young act as Kenny in the show, like Kenny to me just has that Miles Morales vibe to him, and just the actor himself. So if I were to choose, it would definitely be Dallas Young for Miles Morales. What is your favorite thing about the trailer? I think my favorite thing about the trailer is just it feels very grounded. You know? Like it feels like it's a very grounded Spider-Man story. Like I know we're gonna get all these elements with like butane. Like there's a whole list of foes like Doc Ock, butane, unicorn, speed demon, which we saw speed demon in the trailer. Carmela Bing as well. I'm trying to think who else do we have in that concept art. But there's like quite a few villains that we're gonna potentially see, as well as maybe some heroes pop up. But again, I hope it doesn't become a thing where it's like heroes pop up every single episode and you don't really get Peter on his own. You don't really get his full plot and that sort of thing. So I hope that we get some of those moments, but also keep it to where it's Peter's story, where we go on his journey, not the people. I mean, you can have the people also within his journey, but not make it so much about them. Make it about the star of the show. Um, yeah, Miles Morales is Dallas Young's dream role, so he would actually act as Miles with care for the character. Yeah, he would. I think he would do a really good job. Um, I get a lot of people who say it, like people say that I look like Miles Morales, and that would be cool too. Like it would be cool to play Miles Morales in a live action thing, but I don't know if it'll ever happen. So I'm not holding my breath on that. But say if maybe someone wants to do a cartoon or something and they need someone to voice Miles, I would be down. Voice acting is definitely something that I want to get into in the future. So that would be pretty cool opportunity. I would be proud of that alone, just to be doing that. I wish Miles was. I wish MJ was in the show. I think MJ could be in the show, maybe towards the end or maybe further down, because if they're going based off of the origin, right? Like Betty Brant was Peter's first girlfriend. But the problem with Betty and Peter's relationship is that she hated Spider-Man because there's a whole thing that happens with her brother, I think, and she thinks that her brother got killed by Spider-Man, so she pretty much hates Spider-Man, which as we all know, Peter is literally Spider-Man, so that wasn't gonna work. Then you had Gwen, which Gwen was sort of this girl that he kind of had an interest in, like in the beginning when he got into college, but then he started to have feelings for her, and she always seemed to have feelings for him, but she really didn't know how to express it. And then we get the relationship with Gwen. We get MJ. She comes in and says hi Tiger, you just hit the jackpot. We get that moment. So Mary Jane, she's there, right? But she's just a friend of Peter's at that time. We don't get MJ until like way after Gwen dies. And I always think about that scene in the comic where Peter is frustrated. He's like frustrated and here's her choice, and she sits there and she thinks about it. She looks like she's going to leave out the door, but then she closes the door and she consoles him. And it was at that moment where I think people could say that Mary Jane was the one for Peter. And I still think that. I still think that Mary Jane is the one for Peter. And I know recent comics have been trying to dismantle that, and I've stopped reading Amazing Spider-Man altogether because they're just trying to Peter they're just trying to punish Peter at this point, and I don't like that. I want to see the character grow. I don't want him to still be dealing with the same stuff over and over again. Like I want him to grow and develop and have a family, and that's why Ultimate Spider-Man for me has been the saving grace as far as Peter's run in the comics as of recently, because we're seeing Peter grow. We're seeing him, with Mary Jane. They're married, they have kids. We got Mayday, we got his son, and we're seeing a grown up Spider Man, deal with, these issues of growing up and just, that sort of thing. So if they do introduce MJ, like, and I'm not talking about like the MJ from the Tobey Maguire movies where she's this bratty, you know, person where she doesn't know who she wants to be with, not leading Peter on all the time, like that. Not that MJ, like an MJ who she's very, lovable. She's very charming, she has charisma, all these things, right, that make MJ who she is, but she's mature. Like she understands what Peter is going through. And eventually we get to a point where Peter can feel safe telling Mary Jane like, "Hey, I'm Spider-Man." And she's like, "Okay." Like I get it. Like I understand. So I hope we get something like that if they do go that far. Let's see what you guys are saying. Uh, how many episodes of Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man are going to have? They just confirmed that it's going to be 10 episodes. So we're going to get 10 episodes in this season. And I think they did confirm that Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man is going to get a season 2. I think that's still happening. Um, because at the time when they announced the show, it was freshman year, and then the next season was going to be sophomore year. But now that they changed it, because it's not, MCU Peter's origin story anymore, it probably will just be season 2 of Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. That's what they'll do. Villains for the show should have been more street level and no power ones like Shocker, Hammerhead, Tombstone, and maybe even Prowler. Yeah, I do agree. Like we do see some like Butane. I feel like has sort of that kind of grounded thing where he's just like fire, right? He just like has like flower, like not flower, fire or something like that. Then isn't Hammerhead? I think Hammerhead is in here, but I might be mistaken. I gotta look at that concept art again. To be honest, Miles Morales is fine where he is in animation and games. Yeah, I agree. I agree. And I'd say even to I'd say even to a degree in comics, kind of. I've been kind of enjoying the Miles Morales run with Cody Ziegler right now. The T'Challa and Miles thing has been kind of cool to see. It's kind of like, Miles has like a big cousin, um, and he's kind of like taking him under his wing, and we're gonna find out about Wakanda. How is Miles gonna operate in Wakanda? What's it gonna be like for him? And Black Panther is gonna try to help him where he can with his thing that he's going through right now. I don't want to spoil it for those who haven't read it, but if you've read it, like Miles is kind of going through something right now, so we're gonna figure out like how that ends. The real MJ, I hope. I hope so too, Carter. Have you seen The Boys? Yes, I have, Radiant. I've seen The Boys. I've seen every season. I'm looking forward to how they end the final season. Um, I will say though, like the recent season was kind of not bad, but I felt like something was missing in the recent season that we've gotten. Something was definitely missing, but I don't know what was missing. Even though I use Spider-Man for fan films, I still kind of think Miles is used way too much in Spider-Man stories. Understandable. Understandable. Because I know there's people who, from the on the DC side of things, where people who feel like people, when it comes to like Teen Titans and stuff like that, people use Dick Grayson too much, and people want to see like a different Robin. So it's understandable. It's definitely understandable. Like I said, I like Miles, but Miles doesn't always have to be included in everything. Miles can have his own stories. Peter can have his own stories. Gwen can have her own stories. Hobie Brown, he can have his own stories, and there's nothing wrong with that. They don't always have to collide and interact with each other. It's cool when it happens, but you don't want to oversaturate yourself with them always being together, and people don't know how to kind of take them when they're apart. So I definitely understand your point there. Season 4 of The Boys felt like a filler. Yeah, like it did. Like I know some of the moments they're trying to build up to, especially with Homelander in the White House. Like I know that's a whole big thing. Um, and some more elements like what happened to everybody, when they got captured. Like that's gonna be a big part, you know. But I don't know. The recent season just kind of felt like it came and went. Like I don't really remember too much besides a few moments from that, but maybe I'd have to watch, the latest season over again. Let's see. What's up, Caden? How you doing, man? Welcome to the stream. Hey, what's up? Just got onto YouTube, seen this live. Heard about the new Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man trailer getting released. It looks pretty good, honestly. I know people are tired. Yeah, yeah, to a lot of people's points, I have been seeing a lot of arguments about, oh man, why are we getting another Peter Parker in high school? Which, to that argument, I understand. Because, people want to see a grown up Spider Man. People want to see a Spider Man who's, maybe 10 years in the game, who has experience at this point. He's still learning, but he has a lot more experience. So I definitely understand that. And that's why I think it's such a breath of fresh air, the Insomniac games, because they could have done an origin story again, but how many times have we seen that an origin story? I don't think we need to see an origin story. We need to see something fresh and new. And I think with that game, him being 8 years in the game, it makes a lot of sense because we get a little bit more context as to what it was like for him in those 8 years. And even in Spider-Man 2, when we got the flashback of him and Harry going to the high school and, you play through that mission, like there's still little bits and pieces of context there. The flashback with him, punching a hole in the wall when he just got his powers. The scene with Aunt May and she's saying to him, like, I forgot what it was that she said. It was something about it was something that she like some sort of advice that she gave him, right? And that kind of played into the story of Spider-Man 2 just a little bit. So, yeah. Miguel was supposed to have his own show back in 1999, hence the 2099 setting. Interesting. See, I didn't even know that. I didn't even know that. But I also heard that he was supposed to get like a movie too. Like Sony had this whole plan where they were gonna do a Spider-Man 2099 movie, but it got scrapped, I think. So it's unfortunate. I hope we get something 2099 because I think he's a very interesting Spider-Man character. A prequel series. I'm definitely looking forward to this one. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this one too. I'm looking forward to Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. I think there's something special with this show. I think so. One of my favorite shows of Spider-Man is the one that people hate, aka the one called Spider-Man. 2017. I think I've seen like a few episodes of 2017, but it just really didn't intrigue me like that. But again, like everybody has different tastes. Like everybody has like a different Spider-Man that they like, a different show, a different movie, a different comic run, and that's what's so cool about being a Spider-Man fan is that, everybody has a different, you know, may have had a different discovery of Spider-Man from a different version of the character or anything like that. So, I just think that's why Spider-Man is one of the dopest iconic heroes of all time because there's always some way, somehow, something that you can relate to or something that you find interesting about the character or about the variant of that said character that ties right back into Peter Parker's origin. One of my okay, I read that. Let's see. Insomniac and Spider Verse have adult Peter, but people still complaining and calling out flaws. Yeah, like we're continuing to see grown up Peter more and more. With like you said, with the Insomniac, with Spider Verse, with Ultimate Spider Man. So we are getting to that point where we are going to start seeing, more adult stories with Spider-Man, and I hope we do see them because I think it's time now. I think it's time. You know, People who've been Spider-Man fans almost all their life have grown up. We've all grown up, and it kind of reminds me of how back in the '80s when comics were taking more of a darker approach. They were taking a more mature approach. Like the X-Men comics were getting more mature. You had stuff like Spawn and think characters like Ghost Rider and things of that nature started coming onto the scene because the times were changing. The audience was changing, and I feel like we might be getting into a point where that might be happening again. Not just with the comics, but with movies, with TV shows. People want more. It seems to me people want more adulterated, mature content. I know it's not like tons of swearing or tons of violence, but just stories that kind of hit on a more personal level as an adult. So I definitely understand that. I would like to see more of those stories too, because I think they're needed. It's okay to have, this section right here, this section right here, and this section right here. Like, people, it's okay to have multiple different things going on and just kind of doing something different and doing a different take. So, yeah. And I'd say, like, even with this show, like, I've seen that same sentiment. I've seen people say, like, why did you give us this? You could have gave us Spider-Man 98, which to that degree, like, I understand why people want Spider-Man 98 because of the success of X-Men 97. But the only issue that I have with Spider-Man 98 is how would it work? Like, how would it work? Because, I mean, we saw with X-Men 97, we saw Mary Jane, like, she's there. Like, we know Mary Jane, that was a whole big cliffhanger with that, right? Like, we didn't know where she went, like, she was gone, right? But now that she's back in you know the series from 97, it's kind of like, okay, well, how's this going to work now? Not saying that it wouldn't work, but I'm just saying, how? What would they do? If you like Power Rangers, I heard Paramount is going to buy it from Hasbro. Really? Well, I hope they do, because I feel like that's what's missing. We got the Ninja Turtles. We got the Transformers. Now all we need is the Power Rangers, and the trifecta is complete. Because, I mean, let's be honest. I'd say about every kid, well, every kid at some point has either had a Ninja Turtles phase, a Transformers phase, a Power Rangers phase, and if you're just one of those, you just had a phase of all three. Like, you were just rocking with all three. You were cool all three. So I think I was in the range of just I was a fan of all three. So I'm hoping for more Power Ranger stuff. I'm hoping for more Transformer stuff. Like I said, I watched Transformers 1 recently, and I think it does a really good job of telling the Transformers in a way that I feel like, people have been wanting the Transformers to be told in a while, so I hope they continue Transformers. I hope they continue Ninja Turtles, which it seems like they are with Mutant Mayhem 2, and then we got the live action, Last Ronin movie, and then also we can't forget the Last Ronin game, which I hope we hear something on that soon because that was definitely a project I wasn't expecting, but I definitely want to hear more about it because I do love the Last Ronin story. It's a sad story, but I love it. They interpreted Peter very well in the 2017 version, mainly showing how he goes from being at Midtown High to Horizon High. Okay, I might have to rewatch 2017 again, but as far as I remember, like, I'm just not a fan of that version, but maybe I need to go back and watch it. It's been a couple years since I have. Let's see, a new Power Rangers movie is coming on the way soon, too. It is? I don't think I heard that. So, that's definitely new to me. That's definitely new to me. I didn't know that. So I definitely will have to, dive into that and see what I can find out. I might even do if I can. I might even do a video on that. If you guys want a video about the Power Rangers movie, Caden. So thank you for bringing that up. Let's see. The Last Ronin game got canceled. I've been hearing rumors about that too. I've been hearing rumors about that. I don't want them to be true. Like I know the copium is there, but I don't want it to be true because I want it to happen. But if it's canceled, it's a big unfortunate bummer because I would have loved to have seen that story play out. Even just playing it, just the emotional ties that it would have had. I wish if it is canceled, I wish we could have gotten that. But yeah, the last Ronin is good. It's a good story. Like I said, sad story, but a good story overall. So I hope with the live action movie, I hope they take into consideration just the story itself and not try to alter or change things. But diving back into one. Oh dang man, that's you didn't have to say that. But I appreciate it though. I appreciate it. For real. Like you guys have been like very supportive on the channel as of recently. I knew I was supposed to take a break. Like the thing is, like I was supposed to just take like a break. I wasn't gonna come back until like maybe next week or something. But the itching for content has been there. I've been wanting to do more content and just be more creative and come up with different ideas. So I appreciate that, Juan. I really do. And just anybody who checks out the videos and the streams and all that. Like it's just it's been unwavering support, and I want to continue it into 2025, doing more streams, doing more videos, getting myself out there. Like I said, I love doing the animation content and honestly, the animation content will always be the heart of the channel. It's what I started with. It's what's helped me, through a lot of days, but I want to branch out into more because I think you guys want to see more. You guys are interested in a lot of other things that I like talking about. So I want to expand that audience even more because I know I can. Let's see. Yes, sir. It's a theatrical release produced by Hasbro and Paramount in 2026. Okay. Well, I will be looking that up and I will be checking out some more information on that because a Power Rangers movie is definitely much needed, especially for that franchise. Rest in peace, Green Ranger. Um, what other turtle should have been the Ronin? I say Leo or Raph. I'd say personally, if they were gonna do the game, I think it would have been interesting if they would have done like maybe Raph or Leo, which I wonder if in the game they would have allowed you to choose which turtle would have survived. Maybe there could have been different outcomes. If a certain turtle survived, maybe this would have happened. If another turtle that you chose survived, maybe that would have happened. It's just kind of some a little different, but still similar to the story. I think that would have been kind of interesting. And I wonder if that's the route they would have taken with the game, but who knows? But I like the fact that with the story, it's the that you would least expect to survive. I like that because it adds more to that character alone. Because everyone makes fun of that character, but in that, it really it sells you that despite what people may say about that turtle, he is like the survivor of the group. He survived that, so yeah. But yeah, jumping back into Spider-Man, are there some characters that you guys want to see in your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man? Are there some things that you would want to see? Maybe some storylines that you want to see play out in there. Because for me, as of right now, I can't currently think of anything right now as far as what I want to see. I'm just kind of curious about what each episode is going to be like. Is it going to be a different vibe each episode? Is there a connected story in with this, or is it again like just going to be kind of like how the animated series was, where there were connected like 3 to 5 part episodes, but then you have episodes where it was kind of just like a one and done thing. So I wonder if they're going to do that or just a mix of both. Let's see. Marvel should bring back Jonathan Majors Kang. I definitely, I definitely feel, and this is like me, and this is gonna be kind of crazy, but me saying this, but I do feel like in some capacity, like I feel like the Kang story isn't done. Like I feel like the way they ended Kang off to me just feels very like it feels very open ended, if it makes sense, because we don't really know what happened to all his other variants. And I won't go too far into it, but I will say, like, I do feel like, Kang does need to come back. I really do believe that. And maybe with Doomsday, maybe he comes back. I'm still not set on the idea of RDJ playing Doctor Doom. I understand why they did it, but I don't like it. I still don't. I'm curious about what they do with it. Um, Again, I wasn't in any rush to get Doom. I could have waited on Doom. I think they should have built a better relationship with Fantastic Four. And then if you're going to do Doctor Doom in another saga, you could have done that. But I feel like making Doom the headlining villain now because of Quantumania, which I feel like, in my honest opinion, it wasn't it wasn't Jonathan Major's fault. It wasn't Kang's fault for Quantumania. Quantumania was just a really bad movie with really bad writing, and I feel like if anyone should have gotten punished for that, it's the writers because they decided to write that movie, and the movie wasn't any good. The script wasn't any good, and I feel like it didn't do any service to Kang's character to just kill him off and him be outsmarted by Ant Man and the Wasp and everyone else involved. Like it didn't do you any service. And I feel like if Kang should have won, Kang should have beaten Man. He should have beaten everybody. He should have been smart. Time traveled to the 616 or maybe another universe, and then you could have had like maybe a movie or some kind of thing where you could have done like okay, Ant Man, Wasp, and Cassie Lang maybe trying to find their way out of the quantum realm and maybe Cassie Lang is the one to make it out of the quantum realm somehow, but she doesn't tell her parents. So it's kind of like a thing where, because it seems like they are going to be doing the Young Avengers eventually, even though they're not going to call them Young Avengers because the actors are, much older. So they're probably going to call it the Champions or something like that. I heard that they plan on doing, but you know, um, I just feel like personally, like there's so much more that they could have done with Kang as a character, and he just didn't get his chance to do what I felt like he needed to do. So I definitely understand your sentiment, Jazzy. Carter Blake, Jack O' Lantern as a villain, hmm, maybe. It's, it just depends on how far they want to take things. Do they want to keep it grounded? Do they want to do more fantasy based stuff in the show? Which it could have some fantasy based stuff, but I hope that it is sort of a grounded story in terms of like how they do the villains, how they do certain characters. Because I mean, one of the cool things I will say this, the whoever asked me that question earlier, I forgot who it was, but one of the things I did like in the trailer was that scene with him and Speed Demon, where he's like taking the two webs and he's tying them to buildings, right? And he's like trying to trip over Speed Demon. Like I like stuff like that because to me, he's not using nanotech, he's not using some sort of technology. He's using his webs, his fluid to, take down certain enemies, which what he's been known for since the beginning. Like he legit uses his webs. He sometimes goes into a battle and he's like, "Oh shoot, I should have made a thicker, you know, solution for the web fluid," or he's like, I should have made that a little bit more thinner. Um, and that's sort of the thing Spider-Man has to deal with. He has to deal with, going into a battle and then leaving a battle because he didn't make any more web fluid. He legit left his web fluid at home, or he didn't make any more. He ran out. So, I hope that within that we see those moments where it's like, yeah, Peter legit goes through stuff. Like he legit deals with a lot of things, just trying to maintain being Spider-Man for the sake of New York. And yeah, so that would probably be one of my favorite moments from the trailer, is the Speed Demon interaction, and him just doing the whole Matrix, which I know it's a completely cliche thing, and it's been done so many times to the point where it's kind of like it's not, it doesn't really phase people too much anymore. But just him, seeing him and his athleticism, like I really hope they show off his athleticism of what Spider-Man can do, because he's very agile. One of his main powers is agility, so I hope we see that really showed off and showcased in this. But yeah, Jack O'Lantern, it could be a possibility. Again, it just depends on the vibe, how fantastical or how grounded they keep this, or maybe it's just a mix of both. But one thing I do want to ask, because I do want to ask this question: how do you guys feel about Daredevil being in this? Like we knew that Daredevil was going to be in this, like from the jump when they announced this. But what do you guys want to see? Do you think they'll do a Devil's Reign situation with that? Do you think it'll just be like how they did with, Spider Man, just Kingpin? Do you think there's going to be a build towards that? Do you think Silvermane is working with, you know, Kingpin? How is that? What do you think they're going to do with that? Just disconnected for a little bit. What are we talking about? Oh yeah, I'm talking about. I was asking, how do you guys feel about Daredevil being in the show? What do you think Daredevil's story is going to be? How is this gonna, play into a Kingpin? Things of that nature. Like, how do you guys feel, or what do you guys want to see in terms of that team up? I haven't seen a Spidey and Daredevil team up since '99, the '90s show. Yeah, like we haven't had that. Like in recent comics, we've had it. Like we had it with Devil's Reign. We've had it with the Zarsky run, which is one of my favorite Daredevil runs. Also, the Miller run, Chef's Kiss. But Zarsky, as of recently, we had a team up, which I have that comic actually. Um, do you think of the rumors of a multiversal Dark Avengers team? I have heard the rumors of that, and I could see that being something that they do, with Chris Evans coming back, but I did hear something about Chris Evans playing Nomad, which I know Nomad has ties to Captain America. So maybe they do an evil version of Nomad. Maybe that's something they do. Some people have been speculating maybe he's like Captain Hydra, which I think Captain Hydra would be something, which would definitely be a very emotional thing, especially for Sam. Just kind of knowing like the version of Cap that he knows in another alternate universe is an evil version that worked with Hydra, because he knows Cap, Steve, he didn't like Hydra. Like he hated Hydra, so I definitely see that being like an emotional beat. Daredevil would be hype. It's sad that Spidey and Daredevil are becoming less popular now only by known people who aren't casual fans, because they are like the best of homies. Exactly. Like, I'm gonna tell you something. So in this book, I just read today. So there's a whole comic issue where Spidey, the Avengers wanted to get Spidey to team up with them and join the Avengers, right? You want to know the exact person who put in a good word? Daredevil. He put in a good word for Spider-Man. He said he's very qualified to be an Avenger. Now, if that doesn't tell you anything about their friendship, you know, hey, I don't know what else to say. Ever since when they kind of fought each other in issue 16 of Amazing Spider-Man when they fought against the Ringmaster, they made a pretty good team. And even in Daredevil's comics, they fought then, and Daredevil even said like, "Yo, the Spider-Man's getting a little stronger. He's a lot stronger, and he's a lot more aware." So, just the fact alone, like Daredevil putting in a good word for him with the Avengers, that's all you need to know about their friendship. And you know, I hope we see that. I really do hope we see that in Spider-Man 4. Like, I know there's a lot of crazy rumors and stuff going on with Spider-Man 4, Mephisto, Ghost Rider. What's going on with that? That's apparently just not even true. The whole symbiote thing with Noel and Venom and that being a whole thing. Then there was if you guys remember, there's a whole thing where Ant-Man was supposed to appear in Spider-Man 4, and I just don't know what direction they're gonna go in with this, movie and stuff. It just seems like right now it's just one of those things where maybe someone at Marvel is putting out these, misdirect rumors to kind of throw people off their game. Then you have the Toby and Andrew thing that comes into play. They're talking about maybe doing something much bigger than No Way Home, and I don't know what they're gonna do with Spider-Man 4. I feel like we've heard so many rumors and stuff about Spider-Man 4 that at this point I feel like anything could fly, and it maybe could happen. I honestly don't know at this point. Like, I low key just need like a post credit scenes, Daredevil and Spidey to be them hanging out. Yeah, that would be cool. I think that would be really cool, just seeing them hang out. Maybe look down on the street of New York at night or something. Kind of like how, in season 2 of Daredevil, when you get Daredevil and Punisher and they have that fight and then they have that conversation. Like, it would be cool to just have something like that where they're just talking about like what's next for them. What do they want to do next, You know, this is cool, me and you, us teaming up together. We should do this more often in the future, and maybe that could play into something that they want to do in the future or something. I don't know. Just something. People want to see Spidey and Daredevil. People have been wanting to see that for the longest, and I hope that Marvel delivers on that front. What's up, Juan Joe? I think that's your name. Let me know if I'm pronouncing your name right. Hello, I am a channel dedicated to Spidey in Mexico. I want to thank you for the information you provide about this series. It has helped me a lot. Well, thank you, Juan Joe. I really appreciate it. Shout out to Mexico. I hope that, I can bring more Spidey content, with the series and some other potential Spidey projects that we get in the future. I hope I can continue bringing that news for you. But I really appreciate you coming through, on the channel, and I'm glad I can bring as much news as possible to you. And I hope I can continue that. If the rest of the college trilogy is street level, they can make Spider-Man 4 multiversal as long as it's good. Yeah, that's the thing. As long as it's good and they do a mix of both, which I hope, if they're not gonna go all in with the grounded stuff, street level stuff, at least do maybe a mix of both that doesn't interfere too much into multiversal, so it does feel like it's its own separate story, but also at the same time it's not. So I hope that they do that. As far as Spider-Man 4 keeping the date of July in 2026, we'll have to see. I mean, I think there was like a report that they're rewriting the script, or they haven't even started on the script. So it's kind of like one of those situations. I say, like, I don't want to compare it to that, but it's kind of like we don't really know what's going on. That we know what's happening, We know that there is some development on it, but we just don't know as far as what the development is. I mean, even down to the Blue Oasis. I think that was like the title of the movie production, like Blue Oasis. Like, what does that mean? I wonder what that has to do with Spider-Man. So, I mean, Blue Oasis could be like if they want to do like a Spider-Man blue thing, but I don't think they will. I don't think they need to. So it is kind of interesting what that Blue Oasis title is going to be. Don't worry about the pronunciation. What did you think of the trailer? I liked the trailer. I thought the trailer was good. I thought it was a lot better than what we got with the little 2 second clip from the Disney Plus thing that we had. I feel like they did a really good job this time around showcasing that. I feel like if they had shown off a lot of the scenes, because out of all the shows in that trailer, Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man only got like 5 seconds with the title screen included, like 5 seconds. If they had given it a little bit more time, I think more people would have warmed up to it, maybe a little bit. But because it was just like a scene with him, webbing the brick, which we saw that scene in the trailer, and we see him hit someone, and then we get the split comic with him and all of his friends, and the guys there. I just don't think that did a good job of really showing off what the show has to offer. But now with the trailer, I am starting to see a lot more people kind of turning, sort of like kind of warming up to the show. So I think that's what they need. They need a trailer for the show is really what it was, and they did it out in a month of the series coming out, which that I predicted that anyway. Like I predicted they were gonna do it the trailer like a month out because they did the same thing with X-Men 97. The first season, the trailer came out in February 20th, I think, or maybe January. Was it February 20th? No, February 20th. And then the show came out March 20th. So I figured they were going to do the same thing. Now, as far as if they're going to do an episode every week, I hope they do. Because if they can do an episode every week, that's good for, not just people who haven't seen it, but for those who, like myself, content creators who want to do videos like a breakdown of each episode or, do a live stream, because I do plan on doing a live stream, discussion for each episode with you guys if you guys want to see that. I would love to do that and I plan on doing that. So I hope they release each episode, weekly. I don't think the binge model, they don't have to do that. Just put all the episodes because I feel like Echo might have been a little bit, well, I'm gonna say a little bit better, but I feel like if they had just done maybe like a one episode thing, maybe it would have been a little bit more received, but I don't know. I hope Doctor Doom is a variant of Tony. Doctor Doom Iron Man armor with a green cloak. He could look like that. He could look like that. Favorite comic version of Spider-Man that isn't Prime 616? Hmm. That's a good question. There's a lot of good versions that I like. But I'd have to say it probably the newest Ultimate Spider-Man run. Like the newest one. I think I like that version of Spider-Man. That might be my favorite one. Um, I've had a couple in the past, like I think, like Ben Riley, um, those sort of stories, like those are definitely up there. But for me, I think Ultimate Spider-Man, the newest one, is probably my favorite. I like OG Ultimate best. I definitely need to. I definitely need to reread the OG Ultimate Spider-Man. It's been a couple years. Jeff Tramiel said, "Expect the unexpected when it comes to friendly neighborhood Spider-Man." I learned that from experience in Spiderverse. Yeah, like I said, I think this show is going to they're going to do things that we're familiar with, but also do things that we haven't seen before, or hasn't been shown, at least in any Spider-Man media in a while. I think we might see stories where you think something's going to go this way and then it ends up going that way. And are you reading the Ultimate? Yes, I am. I haven't read the latest issue, but I have been reading Ultimate all the way through. And like I said, I like the story elements that they're taking with, Peter Parker. And it's kind of like have you ever seen like a story where it's kind of like someone who did something and they were known for that thing, but they stopped doing it for a while? So for them, it's been so long, but when they get back into doing the thing that they loved, it's kind of like they have to get back into the groove of what they previously had done. So it's kind of like a whole new learning path and journey for that character again. That's what Ultimate Spider-Man is for me. Like it's taking new elements, but also it has, what's familiar with what we've been familiar with, but also some things that is kind of new. Random fact: if you read most of the Spidey comics before the 2022 movie, 616 run, you will notice from the artist to artist, you will notice from artist to artist, Peter Parker, similar to real life, has a distinct face. Yeah, he does. He has like in here, right? Like your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Like you notice like he has sort of like I wouldn't say like a classic hairstyle, but definitely like a hairstyle that if you would have seen Peter Parker from like the 60s, like he definitely would have had like the swoopy hair, and even like down to his outfit, right? Like I'm gonna try to see if I can find in this book here like an outfit that like this, right? Like in here, like you see, like he has on the white dress shirt, and then he has on the yellow vest, and then he has on like a blue hoodie, right? That's very similar to what Peter wore in the comics, early on. Like he wore a lot of that, the blue and yellow and white, because in the early days they wanted characters who were heroes to have sort of like a color palette, as you can say. So a lot of villains and stuff, they used a lot of green and purple and things of that nature to kind of get people used to, get people used to that, color gradient. Okay, so the blue and the white and the red and stuff, that's like hero colors. The green, the yellow, the purple, that's like the villain colors. You know, again, like I'm gonna show off another thing here. Like Shocker. Like Shocker is yellow, and then you got Lizard. Lizard is legit green with in here, legit like green with purple, pants on with a white, lab coat on, right? So you see the distinction in color. Again, like Peter wearing blue here. Like you see like that's the style that they went for back then, and I see that, with what they're doing with the show too. Like a lot of the characters just have a very distinctive color palette. He has the Romita style, most definitely. And I feel like that's what they've taken that from. And even like with Ditko, like even those early days of, Steve Ditko, right? Like they used a lot of just colors and, backgrounds with vibrant colors and solid colors too. So that's why the animation, I see what they're going for with the solid colors, and the backgrounds, and just very bright and vibrant because the comics were like that, and that's what they've taken inspiration from. Ditko with a little Bagley. Speaking of that, if you look in the trailer, it's a very quick and you'll miss it scene. But when Peter is, he's drawing designs for his Spider-Man suit, you can actually see a Bagley version of the Spider-Man mask as one of the masks that he's drawn as a concept. You'll see the Ramita style, you'll see the Ditko style there too, but you also see the Bagley one too, which I thought was really cool. So who knows? Maybe we could get various different versions of the classic suit throughout if they want to keep the show going. Yeah, and you can see the Spectacular Spider-Man sign. Yeah, you can. Honest thoughts on MCU Spider. I'm slightly biased on. I'm on the younger side, but I love MCU Peter to death, especially after No Way Home, because Peter Parker isn't perfect like everyone else, but he's good. So my honest opinion with MCU Spidey is I feel like the actor, like them getting Tom Holland, I think nothing was wrong with that. I think that was a good casting, you know. But I feel like in story, before No Way Home, I feel like in story, Peter Parker, Spider Man just wasn't, for a lot of people, and I think for me personally, also Spider Man. Like he was Spider Man, but in terms of what makes Spider Man who he is, like he didn't have, starting out, he didn't have any heroes beside him. Like eventually he did, but he had to figure this whole thing out on his own. He had to figure out how to make his own web fluid. He had to figure out how to make his own suit. Just even going back to the early roots when, Spider Man, Peter Parker, he was a wrestler, right? Like he was a wrestler, he was entertaining, doing all these flips and stuff, for entertainment. He had to make money, doing wrestling, Crusher Hogan and like I said in the comics they said the Ed Sullivan show, which the Ed Sullivan show was a very popular show, very broadcasted. A lot of celebrities and artists and movie stars and things like that appeared on that show. So, you know, they really leaned into that sort of the times. So I feel like for a lot of people, people want to see that groundedness, that sort of hometown hero kind of thing where people want to see like the rise to, not the rise to power, but sort of like the rise to what the embodiment of Spider-Man in a lot of people's eyes. And I think MCU wise, I feel like they missed that opportunity to kind of show that more of that side. I mean, we get with Homecoming, we get sort of a little bit of fragments of that, but I still feel like to a degree, I still feel like, the inclusion of Tony Stark really didn't do him too much of good because it felt more like he was a Tony Stark sidekick, right? Like he felt more like he was Robin to a Batman. And Spider-Man's not a Robin character. Spider-Man is his own hero with his own stories and his own journey. And I think when you make Spider-Man into Robin, it rubs a lot of people the wrong way. And I think for me, it rubbed me the wrong way because that's not the Spidey I know, you know. Me personally, I believe that if you're writing Peter and you can't imagine your version of Peter letting his anger go to his head and nearly killing his villain, you aren't writing Spidey. You're writing Teenage Superman. Let's see. Like Peter has some anger and he has it at some point. Just give into it. Yeah, because in the comics, eventually Spider-Man does kill someone. He didn't mean to kill this person, but it just so happened. If you've read this Spider-Man versus Wolverine comic, um, Spidey's like in a fight with Wolverine. He's going in for the punch to Wolverine, but he misses, and he actually kills a woman in that comic. Um, and it, even still, That's still a moment for Peter that he can't get over. The fact that he killed a woman. He killed someone. Um, and so, the whole thing where people say like Spider-Man doesn't kill people, he has killed people before. Um, it's just something that he really regrets. He regrets that because he knows like his power. Like Spider-Man's a very powerful character, you know, and he has to reserve his power a lot. And because he knows if uses too much power, it could be enough to literally kill someone. You know, um, I can think of another example of a comic I read where, you know, him and Flash Thompson, they're always going at it. So Peter gets to the point where he's like, you know what? If you want to fight, I'm gonna give you a fight. So they set up like an actual boxing ring, and him and Peter, like Peter and Flash, actually box. But the thing about it, although Peter's mad at Flash, he doesn't want to hurt Flash because he knows if he makes the wrong move, he uses too much of his power, it could injure Flash or it could kill Flash. So he has to reserve his power a lot. So maybe that's something they could do in the trilogy. Maybe that's a arc they could go with, especially if they want to do the symbiote. That could be something where you know too much of the symbiote gets into his head, and now he could have potentially killed someone, and now he knows that the symbiote is not good for him, or he has to learn how to reserve that power within the symbiote because it makes him even more powerful, you know, force. So he has to learn to come to terms with his power. I'm glad there's no connection to MCU Peter. When I saw the trailer overall, I didn't think of that Peter one bit. I thought of Spectacular Unlimited Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes, which the MCU took a lot from. I agree. I agree. And even in the delivery of Hudson Tame's voice, right? Like he's not trying to sound like Tom Holland. Like he has his moments where it sounds like, your standard teenage Peter Parker, but he does in his version to me, he sounds more mature. He sounds a lot more mature in that version, just based off of the trailer, like what we're hearing. Like he still has his moments where Parker out, like those moments, he's still gonna have those moments because he's a teenager. So that didn't really bother me too much. Now the whole thing with Screwball, I know Screwball is like the most hated Spider-Man character. I don't like Screwball either, if I'm being honest. But even down to those moments, like referencing Screwball in the chat of his live stream, um, just shows kind of like they're taking bits and pieces from different things. If they truly wanted to make an MCU Peter origin story, make a short animated film, not a full-fledged cartoon show. I agree. Or they could have done, if you guys remember, you know, they used to have these Marvel shorts, right? I think they did one for Secret Wars actually, where they had like Kamala and Black Panther and all these characters, and it was building up to Secret Wars. I think they had done. It was like a short, like 15-minute short episodes or something that they did. They could have done that if they wanted to explain his origin. They could have done something like that, or kind of like what they did recently with the Lego movie, the Marvel Lego movie, like a 59-minute movie where you go based off of that and just kind of tell the story of MCU Peter, leading us into where he is now or something. Favorite live action Spidey suit minus the equation of comic accuracy. Uh Thinking. I do like Tom Holland's suit cuz I do like how it feels very like Spider-Man. Like not to say that Toby's Spider-Man suit isn't Spider-Man, because that's definitely Spider-Man. I do like the thick lining of the webs on um, Toby's suit, and even Andrew's suit, right? Like even his version. Like I like how certain elements with his suit look different. But I'd say personally, I like Tom's suit. I like the fact that the eyes actually move. That's something I've always wanted to see. You know, the eyes emote, because I feel like that's a very big character. That's a very big character touch for Spider-Man, just to see his eyes emote. So I think I'd say like live action wise, it would probably be Tom, but Toby's first suit from the first movie and also the one in the second movie, which Spider-Man 2 is my one of my favorite movies still, you know, to this day. But I'd say like Tom's suit for sure. Definitely his new suit. I like his new suit in No Way Home. I hope they keep it. I hope they don't change it because I think that's a really nice suit. And even I don't have the concept art book, but looking at the concept art for No Way Home in the book, they went with a lot of different ideas. Like Peter was gonna have a darker blue in his suit, which would have been very comic accurate. Then they went with the lighter blue. There's even like a whole thing where there's even Insomniac Spider-Man suit. So I don't know if Insomniac Spider-Man was gonna be one of the Spider-Men that would come from the multiverse portal that we saw. I don't know who they would have gotten to play that version, but would they have done that? That's something. So that was a little odd seeing that, but it also did get me hyped for that. If they did had any plans to do that. Favorite suit design from Across the Spider Verse. Across the Spider Verse, I'd have I'd have to definitely think about that. But for me, it's definitely Miguel's suit. I really like Miguel's 2099 suit in that film. It just feels like compared to the little post credit scene we got of him in Into the Spider Verse, it feels like it feels like he really did like eat like bulk up. You know what I mean? Like he definitely bulked up in Across the Spider Verse. So it would probably be that suit for me. Is my favorite. But I like all the designs in the Across the Spider Verse movie for the most part. I even have I have the concept art book for that too, and there's some other concept art designs for Miles in there that I like that I hope maybe they kind of do like an iteration of, and just even like with other characters like Webslinger, right? Like Webslinger is definitely like a Spider-Man variant that I hope that we see more stuff with in the future because I could definitely see like a Western type Spider-Man, either a animated series or like a show that they do down the road. I think that would be kind of cool. So hopefully more Web Slinger because I do like that character. Spider-Punk in that movie was fire. Yeah, definitely Spider-Punk. Spider-Punk was the MVP in that movie. I'd even say like Spider-Punk's suit I like too in that movie. His design overall too, like I like the dreads he has going on. The dread hair kind of has that punk vibe to it. The like the 80s 70s rock. I like that. I like what they were going with his design for the suit. So I'd say his suit is probably like my second favorite. We're never getting we're never getting Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse because of Shamik. I don't know what's going on with Shamik, man. Honestly, I know he's kind of dealing with some stuff. I'm sure. The online stuff is all you need to know. I don't know what's going on. I just hope that he focuses up and he can, get back on track. I know he had a big crush on Haley Steinfeld, and she's getting married, and that really broke him. But I mean, Shamik Moore, like he's an actor, man. He's an actor. He's done Miles. He's played legit Miles Morales. He's played in other movies and TV shows. Like Shamik Moore can find him a good woman out there, and I think that if Shamik Moore would just focus up and just keep doing what he's doing, I literally think he will find him a good woman in his life, and he'll find the woman that's right for him. I he'll find the woman that's right for him. So I'm not gonna press too much into that because I know he'll find him someone. So, and even with the picture he posted with the actress, right? Like, you know, she got upset about him taking that down. He should have took that down, and he should have took that down. If she didn't want that picture up there, just take it down, man. You know, just take it down. There's no need for all that extra controversy and stuff. But like I said, I'm not gonna lean into him and you know be like how people are online making all these jokes about him because I don't know him personally. I don't know what he's going through. All I know is I hope that, like I said, I hope he focuses up and just kind of focuses on what matters, his career, and like I said, he'll find him a woman. He's got it. He's got something there. So he'll find him a woman. So he has nothing to worry about. And I refuse. The fact that we're probably getting GTA 6 before Beyond the Spider Verse is insane. Dead joke, but I like it. I mean, yeah. I mean, I've done. I did a video a while, like a couple months ago, and I told people like it wasn't like one of those things where it's like I told you so, but just kind of reading the concept book from Across Spider Verse. It really made me sit down and kind of think about like maybe we're not going to see this movie for a good couple of years. And honestly, though, like I honestly feel like we're not going to see this movie until 2027 because there's a lot of work that goes into these movies. Also, you have to deal with the considerable fact that when Across the Spider-Verse came out, there was a lot of the workers and animators who worked on the movie who felt overworked and felt like they weren't able to get a break. So I feel like this time, to avoid any more controversy with that and pertains to the behind the scenes stuff, I feel like they're gonna give the artists and animators who work on this movie, their break and their well deserved pay because they deserve that. Everybody involved with that movie, whether it's down to the lettering, the editing, the animation, whatever it is that they do, everybody who works on that film plays a big intricate part of piecing this all together. The fact that even a lot of scenes, like they were working the week of the movie that was supposed to premiere, they're still working on the movie. So there's a lot of time, a lot of dedication, a lot of love that goes into these movies, even still from their premiere week. So, like I said, I just personally don't see Beyond the Spider Verse come out in 2027. And you know what? That's okay. I'm okay with that. I can wait. I know it seems like a long wait, but 2027 or 2028, whenever it comes out, it'll be here. And I promise you, I really do feel like they want to knock it out the park with the third Spider Verse movie. They want Spider Verse to be one of the best trilogies ever. And I honestly feel like they want to make a satisfying ending. The creators involved have said they want to make it a very satisfying ending for fans, and I think they do. And even with Sony, the whole Sonyverse being not dead, but rerouting its focus to potentially doing more Spider-Man based projects. One of the big focuses they mentioned, alongside Spider-Man 4 is Beyond the Spider-Verse. So I really do feel like Sony is going to take the initiative to focus up on, the two Spider-Man projects that they have and maybe potentially work on other Spider-Man projects that do include Spider-Man and do have good script writing and all that matters. Yeah, that's debatable. Yeah, it's a debatable thing. Yeah, I love Shamik and Dope 2015. Yeah, Dope is a really good movie. The movie's on, I believe Dope is on Netflix, but it's a really good movie. I really like Dope. I think it was produced by Pharrell too, which Pharrell is one of my favorite music producers of all time. I don't think Pharrell gets his flowers enough. I feel like, he's up there with the Dr. Dre's and, the DJ Jazzy Jeffs of the world. Like, I feel like he's initiated a whole movement in music. He's been in everything. So I feel like with an artist like Pharrell, I feel like he definitely needs to get his flowers more. I predict 5 years, the same amount as Across the Spiders. Yeah, it's gonna be at least 5 years. And Into Spider-Verse, since that took 5 years to create as well. Yeah, it did. So it's gonna be at least 5 years until we see these movies, see beyond, which I'm okay with. Because again, if this gives them all the time to make sure that everything is okay, art wise, animation wise, employee wise, I'm okay with waiting. Because I know it'll be good. And I hope that it'll be good. And there is a possibility it could be longer, depending upon what they do with Beyond. Because when I think of Beyond the Spider Verse, to me, it feels like they want to go all out with the ending. So there could be some different liberties at hand that we don't even know about that they could be taken. Because if you would have told me that there was going to be a Lego world in Across Spider Verse, I would have been like, I don't know, how would they play that off? But the way they played it off in the movie, they did it really well. And shout out to Lego Me. He's still doing Lego animations, by the way. The fact that I think he was how old? I think he was like 12 around that time, right? The fact that he did all that animation himself from Legos, it was just amazing to see. Because when I was younger, I would always watch the Lego animations that people would create on YouTube, and I just thought it was the coolest thing growing up. So seeing that on screen, that definitely got a pop out of me in the theater. Sydney Sweeney needs to be Selena Kyle. Madam Web did her dirty. Yeah, I honestly didn't even bother to watch Madam Web, because Madam Web to me just seemed like it was just gonna be a really bad movie to begin with. The trailer didn't sell me, and I was like, yeah, I'm not wasting my money to go see this. And I didn't, and I'm glad I did, because from what I heard, it wasn't that good, and there's so much with that movie that's so much wrong with that movie. Madam Web screwed her over for real. Yeah, they did. I know people have been saying they want her to be. I know people have been saying they want her to be Black Cat, but I don't know. I don't know about that. If they could get her to voice one line for Julia Carpenter in Beyond the Spider-Verse, since the character was shown in Across Spider-Verse, I think they should. We did see her, so maybe they will. Have you heard the Sony Villainverse films will never took place in the same universe, which is probably the dumbest decision from Sony. Exactly. That's another thing. That's my chair, by the way. Squeaky. Um, that's like another thing. Like, you're doing all these villain movies, right? But you're not setting up anything. These are just like movies you said, like, we're gonna make these movies because we got the Spider-Man property, film property, I should add. They don't own all of Spider-Man, but just the film rights, and obviously PlayStation, which is a Sony company, is doing the games. But as far as like the film side of things, Sony has part in that, and it just felt like they were trying to make money off of the Spider-Man name. They didn't care about all the story elements. They didn't care about building this up to potentially have a face off with these villains for Tom Holland or maybe another potential Spider-Man. Like, they didn't do that. And when they had things that included maybe a reference to Spider-Man, they cut them. At the last minute, they cut them. So I don't know what they were doing with that universe. I'm just glad it's over. I'm glad they can reroute their focus on other things, and I hope this time around they do take it seriously and not try to throw everything at the wall just to see if it sticks. I know the Julia Carpenter in Across the Spider-Verse is a variant. One of the background characters from the comics. Yeah. So who knows? They could have her, have a voice, or because again we're gonna see more variants in Beyond the Spider-Verse. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Miles variants, which I said like before Across the Spider-Verse came out. I was like, how cool would it be to have Insomniac Miles interact with Spider-Verse Miles? Like I want to see that interaction because I think that would be a cool, intercool conversation to have because Insomniac Spider-Man, Insomniac Spider-Man, he is Insomniac Spider-Man, one of them. But Insomniac Miles has lost his father, and we know from even Spider-Man 2, he still has some resentment towards, Mr. Negative, which they kind of cleared up, but kind of a way they didn't. Like, I still feel like there's still some issue there, and he's always going to have that. Because he literally is the cause of his father's death, you know? And I feel like that would be a kind of a cool conversation to have with him is like, I lost my father. I know how you feel. To this day, I still wish I could go back and, you know, prevent my father's death from happening. Because he tried to, but it was just too late, you know. Pharrell is up there with some of the modern day composers. No joke, he has history. People don't know about music. Radiant Films, you said, I'm okay with the delay for Beyond the Spider-Verse because it was needed. But the delay for the Batman 2 is stupid. I don't know what James Gunn is doing. Yeah, I know people are trying to like tie that into the Batman Brave and the Bold news because it just so happened that news came out and then the Batman Part 2 news came out. Hold on, I got somebody at my door. I'll be right back. I got somebody at my door, so I'll be back. Hopefully, no one left. I'm back. The tribal chair, I hope, kept you company. But I'm back. Let's see. You were saying, yeah, the Batman Part 2. I wonder what's going on with that because, you know, again, it just seemed very. I know people are probably going to put two and two together, but with the Batman Brave and the Bold, with Andy Machete, saying that, and then like we got like the Batman Part 2 being delayed back to 2027. Like I wonder like what's going on with that. I wonder if there's a personal issue going on with Matt Reeves. Is there something that we don't know about? Because they even mentioned in the article like the Batman 2 is going to be very VFX heavy, which doesn't mean that they're going a fantastical route or anything like that, but they may be adding a little bit more camera work, a little bit more effects to this grounded Batman. So I don't know what they're gonna do. I just feel like just personally, if it was up to me, I would have had the Batman 2 come out next year. Cause I think it would have been perfect because with the Penguin, I feel like the Penguin set up the Batman 2 really well to the fact that if they wanted to release the movie next year, they could have in October and it would have added more momentum. Like the Penguin literally added more momentum to the Batman 2 because now people want to see how that's going to play out. But then delaying it 2 years even more, to me, it just feels like, you know, I wish I knew what they're doing. With Batman, maybe they feel like they don't want to lend too much focus on Batman. That could be a thing too. But with this is Matt Reeves' universe. This isn't, and I know people have been making that theory. Are they finally gonna connect? Matt Reeves Batman with James Gunn's Superman. Are we finally gonna get that? I don't think they're gonna do that, and quite honestly, I don't think it's necessary because to me, if you have those two combined, you completely dismantle DC Elseworlds, which we know James Gunn said in that video that DC Elseworlds was meant for DC to have its own stories, like Batman Cape Crusader, Teen Titans, things of that nature. Those are all DC Elseworlds stories. But I feel like the moment you put, Robert Pattinson side by side with David Cornsweet's Superman, you completely take away the rule of DC Elseworlds, in my opinion. So I'm not with that idea. Imagine Tyler, the creator for Beyond the Spider-Verse. Also, thoughts on Chromacopia. I thought Chromacopia is a really good album. It's a really good album. I like it. I could definitely see Tyler, the creator. Another person I would love to see is Kid. I talked about that. I talked about that. If you saw my intergalactic video that I did, I think Kid Cudi would definitely fit the vibe for Beyond the Spider Verse as well. So who knows? I'm not sure if the Batman is under management. I heard James has control over the time it comes out, not just the story. That could be the case too. Like maybe they feel like they can't release two Batman films at the same time, so they had to delay one. But if that's going to be the case, why would you have Andy come out and say like, well, we don't even have any ideas or anything for this movie. So why would you have him say that if then you're gonna have Matt Reeves' Batman kind of take another strike to another year? Like to me, that is a little odd. So hopefully there's more clarity on that. Because to me, maybe Matt Reeves is going through a personal issue right now, and maybe he just needs to take some time off. I did hear, if you guys watch John Campea, he did mention, I think a week or two ago, I was watching a show live, and he said that there could possibly be an announcement with Matt Reeves and DC. So I don't know if that means that maybe Matt Reeves is going to be doing some, maybe have some kind of role in the DCU, because we do know that he is like producing some projects, like again Batman Cape Crusader. He's a part of that. He's going to be in part with the Clayface movie that's coming out in 2026, which is kind of wild that we're getting a Clayface movie before a Batman movie. It's kind of wild to think about, but I am interested what they're going to do with the Clayface movie. Bro doesn't want to have competition with Soups. Yeah, Miles is definitely listening to Flower Boy. Hey, what's up, the Homelander? I'm sorry that I'm late on your comment. Just trying to catch up. But seriously, Tyler for Beyond the Spider Verse would be crazy. Yeah, it would be, and I hope it happens. Have you seen Arcane? I have not seen Arcane. It's definitely some on my list that I want to check out. Hey man, I'll try to be right back. If I can, I'm gonna head to the grocery store right quick. All good, man. I might be on, I might not. I might end the stream maybe like a few minutes because I have to do something. So I might not be on when you come back. But if I am back, I'll. If I'm not back, I'll definitely kind of let you know. Maybe Miles might have in a universe listened to Igor. Yeah, definitely. I feel like that Miles, like he listens to a good variety of artists. Like he listens to the Tyler. He listens to the Kid Cudi. He listens to like those different artists. I feel like that's definitely his vibe. So who knows? Maybe that would be something, right? Like maybe we could get like a scene where maybe we could get like a scene where he's like listening to music with Gwen or something. Um, I think that would be kind of cool to kind of tie back to the scene that we got of the first movie, right? With him, he's drawing and he's listening to Sunflower. Like, what a way to kind of end that off with them just kind of happily together. Maybe singing a song or something. Maybe they could do like a song for them together or something. I did hear. I don't know his name. I think his name's David. He's a music producer. I did hear. I think he was on a stream and he said that he was doing some music for Beyond the Spider Verse. So there's a confirmation there that he's gonna be doing some music for Beyond the Spider Verse, a song or something. He said. How would you rank the seasons of The Boys? That is something I'd have to like think about. I will say though, like I think season 3 might be my favorite season. I think it's season 3 or is it season 2? It's either season 1 or season 3 or 2 that's my favorite. The one that Soldier Boy is in when they introduced Soldier Boy. Gabrielle, how are you doing? Welcome to the stream. I'm gonna be ending it in a few minutes, but if you guys have any more like questions or comments or anything, definitely X them out. Shout out to everybody who tuned into the stream too. It's been a great one. Like I said, I enjoy doing these streams, and I got some more streams planned and some other videos planned. So if you guys want to see me do like a trailer breakdown for your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, definitely like let me know and I can get that going. Maybe I'll try to get it out tomorrow. Um, and then, like I said, I am gonna do a stream where we talk like our most anticipated movies for 2025 because I think that's a good stream idea to kind of get people into the new year. Have you seen Gen V? Yes, I have. I have seen Gen V. Thought it was really. I thought it was good. Rest in peace to the actor that passed away. That's such a bummer because I thought he's a good actor, and they had more story, ideas and stuff for him. So it's gonna be something how they carry on the show, without him. We lost a lot of people this year too. Kind of going back and looking at it. One person that definitely comes to mind, and he's one of the influences of why I started doing YouTube in the first place. Comic Storian. Yeah, I know that name has probably been something that you haven't heard maybe in a little bit, but Comic Storian, man, I love his channel and I still watch his channel to this day. I still go back and rewatch a lot of his comic book, him telling the comic stories and things like that because Comic Story and he always had a way of just telling stories in such a way that got you into it. Even if you didn't even like that particular story, just hearing his narration, of within his storytelling is something I will always be, an admiration of. And, you know, it's just unbelievable thinking about him, him being gone because he had such an impact, in the comic book community for a lot of people because, if you didn't have a certain comic or weren't able to buy it, you could just go to, Comic Story and he would have that certain comic run on there. So I just still can't believe he's gone. But I hope he knows that he impacted a lot of people in such a very inspirational way. And I hope he knows that. And I hope his family knows that as well. Do you have a top five favorite superheroes? I do. So my top five favorite superheroes, obviously Spider-Man is first on the list. Then it kind of comes down to like, do we include like groups or do we include like individual characters? Because then if it's individual characters, then it would probably be like Gambit. Gambit, Spider-Man, Gambit, and Black Panther. So though they would probably be my top three favorite superhero characters. But then I thought about like Daredevil. Like Daredevil's one of my favorites. So it's kind of hard to kind of name off like three, but it's definitely it's definitely like Spider-Man. It's definitely like top. But it's like X-Men characters like Gambit is on the list. Then you have Daredevil. Then you have like T'Challa. You have Black Panther. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna stick with my list: Spider-Man, Gambit, and Black Panther. I like those characters. Also, Daredevil's a very close one as well. So yeah, favorite superhero team: X-Men. The X-Men are my favorite superhero team. Teen Titans is a close second as well. I love the Teen Titans. Um, One of the books actually is like a Teen Titans book. If you guys know the artist, oh, I picked that up. If you guys know the artist Gabriel Piccolo, you've probably seen him on Twitter. He does a lot of these like books about separate Teen Titans characters, and it's a continuing story with each book. Um, and I really like the art style. I like the story in here, but the art style is just very visually pleasing. You got Starfire here. You got Blackfire as well. Um, you'll learn more about that in terms of what that story is about. But I really love his art style. I hope we get like a show like that in his art style because I would love to see that. Um, and just some of his other artwork, like he did one for Blue Beetle. He did one for Miles and Gwen when Across the Spider-Verse came out. Very talented artist, which even the artist for Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, Leonardo Romero, very good artist if you've seen some of his work, which by the way, he actually did the cover. He did the cover for this book that I have too for the Spider-Man book. So again, very good artist. I love artists who have like a very distinctive style. So every time you see their art, you know like that's them. But also he also does the cover art for the Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man prequel comics as well. So again, very talented. Birds of Prey, if you've read the Birds of Prey, he's also done art for that too. So again, very talented artist. Gabriel Piccolo, also very talented artist, and I always have to support my comic book artists and just artists in general because if the ability to have the skill to just draw characters and personas and ideas and things of that nature, it's a very amazing thing to create these concepts. So I always give my props and flowers to artists. Top three Spider-Man villains. So Green Goblin is definitely number one. Doc Ock number two, and then I'd say Kingpin. So Green Goblin, Doc Ock, Kingpin. Those are probably my top three Spider-Man villains. Which I know those seem like those are probably very basic uh, Spider-Man villains, but I love the stories that are usually told with them. Those stories usually seem to hit more with those characters. The Hobgoblin thing I never really liked. Like the concept of Hobgoblin to me just like there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that went on with the Hobgoblin thing. Like, it was supposed to be another character, then they changed it to Ned Leeds being Hobgoblin, and I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all. So Hobgoblin's not someone I put on the list as a top three. Gotta go. I'll make sure to join the next stream. I sub. Thank you, Homelander. I'm glad you enjoyed the stream. I will, like I said, I will be doing more, and yeah, just be on the lookout. But with that being said, I think I'm gonna end the stream here. It's been awesome talking with you guys. Like I said, 2025, I'm gonna be doing more streams for sure. I'm gonna be trying to do some collabs too. So who knows? I might be, trying to hit up some people and seeing if we can work some things out. So there's some really fun plans, some really interesting and exciting plans for the future of this channel. And everything that I've talked about since the beginning is it's going to there's evolution, and I want to continue that evolution, and I want to continue that journey with you guys because you guys have been here and been supportive of me, throughout. And like I said, it doesn't matter if you came through when my first video, my recent video, this live stream maybe is your first time seeing me. I really do appreciate it. So yeah, thank you so much. I hope you guys have a great day, a great rest of your week, and yeah, if there's anything else that I need to say, I don't think so. I don't think there's anything else. Oh, yeah, I am gonna return to We Got the Script. I know I was supposed to do one on Doctor Strange 3 and it just didn't happen, but I'm gonna return back to that. So we're gonna get that going back up. So yeah, with that being said, thank you all so much. I enjoyed chatting with you guys. This definitely won't be the last time. We're gonna be doing more. So with that being said, as I always say, if you love something, if you're passionate about something, go for it. No one is telling you that you can't. You know you can do it. And do what you love and do it better than anything you've ever imagined. Peace out, Radiant. Thank you for stopping by. And I definitely will check out your fan films. I definitely will be checking them out. Actually, by the way, I'm going to subscribe. I'm going to subscribe to you as soon as I get off here, too. So if you can, just leave a comment. Like, leave a comment in the stream. And I'll subscribe to your channel. And I'll check out your fan films. But yeah, I got distracted. But thank you all so much. Big love to you all, and peace out.